I was thinking about how there's a chance I hadn't added this one yet to my theory, my thesis, my hypothesis, my theorem, hypothesis. The idea that there is a chance that I'm not saying this is the case, please understand, I'm not saying this is the case for all DID. I do not think this is the case for all DID. In fact, I do not think this is the case for all DID. This is from me. These are my like random thoughts. I make a lot of notes. Yeah, I was theorizing the other day. So I don't think this is the case for all DID. I'm not saying this is all DID, but I think this could be the case for some DID. I think this could be the case certainly for some of what we see online. Okay, it could be OCD, right? So let me work it down. OCD is greatly misunderstood. Most people think that OCD is wanting to have your pens in a row, wanting to clean thoroughly. There is as a whole, a hugely misunderstood element to what OCD actually is. And the way OCD generally affects people is with psychotic delusions that cause obsessive compulsive destructive habits and behavior. So, understanding OCD, again, just to repeat the path, somebody has a obsessive belief, okay, or a compulsive belief that forms a psychotic delusion, and that creates obsessive compulsive ritualistic habits and behaviors that are incredibly self-destructive to one's standard of living. Now, OCD is here by the NHS. And I think America does this as well. It's categorized on a sort of 3-tier system: mild, moderate, severe. Severe OCD is what will actually get you a diagnosis of OCD. With mild OCD, you might receive a diagnosis. Sorry, with moderate OCD, you might receive a diagnosis, but it's very unlikely without the psychotic delusions. Basically, mild OCD is people have obsessive thoughts. Those obsessive thoughts never turn into psychotic delusions, never turn into compulsive habits. Now, also, this is the other thing with OCD, is it often gets worse as people grow. So they won't diagnose you with OCD when it is mild OCD, but they'll keep an eye on you, sort of thing. Mild OCD could be BPD, autism, ADHD. It could be a whole load of other things, sort of thing. Then you've got the moderate OCD, where the obsessive thoughts, you're unable to get rid of them, and they're causing psychotic delusions. This is still really hard to diagnose as OCD, though. It could be bipolar, it could be schizophrenia, it could be a whole load of other things still at this point. You won't get a diagnosis of OCD. It's only when, and by psychotic, so you might have an obsessive thought. An obsessive thought, this could get a bit triggering and personal for some in this chat, and I'm really sorry, but I'm going to describe it. So you might have an obsessive thought of like, and this, I'm going to be very typical here. This is very typical, not atypical. This is very typical OCD. You might have an obsessive thought that a family member is going to die because you didn't do something, and you know it's irrational, you know it's silly. Then it turns into a psychotic delusion. You really believe they've actually died because you haven't done the thing. You get home, you're on the edge of checking. Maybe you do check. No, you do check. You actually do check. You do things to make sure that they're not dead. They're not dead, it's okay. But you can't get rid of the psychotic delusion. The thought, the delusion, the thought, the delusion, every day. And then it hits the level of being able to be diagnosed as OCD, severe. My parents are going to die. My loved one's going to die. They didn't die because I did this. They didn't die because I did X. And no matter what you do, no matter what anybody tells you, no amount of CBT, DBT, meditation, mindfulness, therapy, advice, logic, maths can convince you. There is nothing under the sun that can convince you that you're wrong. The reason why your friend didn't die is because you happened to kick the top step on your way going up. And now every day you kick the top step on your way going up, but you also still check that that person isn't dead. And every day and over, you keep adding more and 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 more throughout your life. And every ritual is so hard to break. It's not like addiction. It's not like trichotillomania. It's not like anything else. You've heard it said that one of the worst things about OCD is the lucidity. You know it's irrational. You know you're crazy, but you can't shake that knowledge either that you're right. That's when it hits psychotic delusion. And then when you're carrying out behaviors, ritualistic behaviors on a daily basis to combat those psychotic delusions, you now have OCD. This is where it differs to schizophrenia and bipolar, as I said, because often we with bipolar, schizophrenia, can develop an OCD, maybe a singular or two, but it's the amount that somebody with OCD will pick up over a lifetime. There is a large amount. We also, I think, it doesn't, like, if you have bipolar, like when I've had obsessions, oh God, they can be the worst. They can be the worst. And they will turn into the psychotic delusions, and it's the worst. And on and on. But then the mania goes, and I'm fine. You know, then the episode passes. For the schizophrenic, then they manage to get grounded. The moment passes. It's so that they're so similar, the three of them. Double bookkeeping. Oh God, that's the worst. You know what's the worst? Is being convinced that you're actually... I don't know if it is the worst. It's... it's all shit. Now, with all of that under our belt, let's have a look at this. So, could OCD be a reason for DID? Or could DID be OCD? So, let's see. You have an obsessive belief that you have experienced abuse. Your obsessive belief that you can't trust your own memories. An obsessive belief that you are not truly you. Obsessive thoughts. This is where it turns into delusion. You know, these could be beliefs. These could be beliefs. These could be thoughts that you have that bother you, that bug you, but don't affect you necessarily. But it's when they become obsessive thoughts combined with over what is identity, self, you. Obsessive thoughts, I might already be dead because if I speak up, they'll kill me, etc., etc. And then this begins to manifest as an obsessive compulsive behavior, masking, compulsive lying. An obsessive delusion, I can't remember. What happened can't be real. Is there a chance that people that have this collection of beliefs, thoughts, compulsive behaviors, and delusions, is there a chance that somebody had that combination of beliefs, thoughts, compulsive behaviors, and delusions is somebody who does not, in fact, have DID, but is, in fact, somebody who has OCD? That is basically the thing that I would, I guess, like to ask a psychiatrist, probably. Because I don't know the answer to you. This is just a genuine, like, I need to ask a psychiatrist. I hate thinking people could read my thoughts. Bloody, I really notice it these days. At the weirdest of times. Well, I always notice it. I noticed it really heavily a few days ago. But it was at like 2 a.m. So it's thanks to the fact that I've been taking antipsychotics daily for 4 years now. I only feel like people can read my mind just before going to bed and taking my antipsychotics. You know? Pretty sweet. Thank you so much for watching, Loungers. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And maybe even leave a comment, you fucking arsehole.